In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a mitered corner. It's a nice way of making a nice clean binding here on the corner front of our quilt. So as you can see, I have trimmed back my batting, which is this fuzzy old blue sweatshirt material. And then I have trimmed my backing so that it's going to be 2 times the width of what I want my desired binding to be. Then I've cut this corner off, and I just kind of winged it. But you want to cut the corner halfway between the point of your quilt and the point of your backing, and you just chop a line off there. So the first thing we do is we're going to fold this over. And then next, we're going to double fold this to make a nice point here at the corner, and we can pin that. I'm going to repin this corner once I get the other side folded. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. So this is a double fold. Now, depending on how awesome you cut your little corner, sometimes this gets funky. It can be far apart, it can kind of be overlapping. So I just try to make it look the best that I can, knowing that it doesn't need to be perfect. And I think that looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to actually move this pin a little bit. Just kind of hold that together. And then I'm going to start stitching. So now we're going to sew this binding down. So you can start sewing your binding anywhere, but as you come to the corner, the first step for me is I'm going to tuck my knot in here and hide that a little bit. And then I'm going to go through all layers, just doing my running stitch. Sometimes this is a little thick, so you might have to do 1 stitch at a time or 2 stitches at a time. And you notice that I'm stitching pretty close to the edge of my binding. I prefer that. If you stitched a little bit down here, you kind of get this flapper, and I'm not a big fan of the flapper. So I'm going to come up close to the corner. And when I get to the corner, you have a couple choices here. I always like to do this cute little X here, so that's what I'm going to show you. But there are many ways to secure this area of the mitered corner, so feel free to look into those if what I'm showing you is not feeling awesome. So my next part is I'm going to create this X here. So I'm going to go through my fabric here, and I'm actually not going to go all the way to the back. I'm going to keep my X so that it only shows up on the front and there's nothing on the back here. So I'm going to poke my needle down. I'm going to come up over here, and remember I'm just traveling through the quilt top and the quilt batting. Now I'm going to take this pin out, and I'm going to make a little X, and I'm going to go through 2 times. So I'm going to come this way, and again not going through the back. And that makes 1 line across. And then I'm going to come up. Again, not traveling through the back, just traveling through the front. And I'm going to make my X 2 times to make sure that it's nice and secure. And then, where am I going to come up? So I'm going to actually just start securing that other side of the binding. So I'm ready to go for this side. Again, since we're on the edge here, it gets a little finicky, so just do your best. You'll be able to get some tension going. Let me take this pin out. You'll be able to get some tension going here in just a minute, so just get a couple stitches in to give yourself a nice secure corner. And then I'm just going to keep going with my running stitch. They're right close to the edge. And that is how you make a mitered corner.